Hi everybody, it is time for me to set up my new planner for the second half of the year. I am continuing to go with the Makselife 6-month undated vertical. I have been using this one thus far this year and I love it. You can kind of see here how full this one is compared to the new one. Like, it has grown quite a bit with all the stickers and shit that I've used. So I am going to start getting this puppy set up. Now, it has all of the goal setting stuff in the beginning, but I'm not going to go through all of that because I just did my quarterly assessment. I will link that video down below. And I am going to just transfer over some information. I'm going to rewrite my annual goals. When I'm revisiting them, I may decide to kind of tweak the wording, but I'm going to do some setting up here, and then the next Makselife video I will do that's not a plan with me will be for the month. But this is just to get the beginning of the planner set up. So this is the blush. There's the taupe and the blush. I had the taupe the first half. I'm doing the blush the second half. I'm going to go with a Tombow Mono drawing pen in 05 for the current kind of pen that I'm going to be using, and this I will probably continue to use the tool throughout the rest of the month and everything like that because I am trying to use it up, but I just don't want to deal with the smearing because it's going to fucking annoy me. I never put my information in the planner, but it also never leaves my office, so it doesn't matter, so I just put your mom. So let's just get into it. I'm going to be utilizing a bunch of different things. We'll talk about them as I come up to it, but very quick, I will go over the color scheme that I am using with my Mildliners and my Zig Clean Color dot pens to match the Makselife colors. It's not a perfect match, and I did go through the whole process of swatching these and everything else when I started this year off in the Makselife. I know some new colors have been introduced. I just really didn't feel the need to change anything, so I'm just going to continue, but I will leave these listed down below in the description box, but I'll also just let you know right now. For personal, which is yellow, I have Summer Sun for the dot marker and gold for the Mildliner. For fun and recreation, which is orange, probably the least matchy-matchy of the group. Island Coral for the dot, and Marigold for the highlighter. For work and learning, which is red. Red for the dot marker, and red for the Mildliner. For family and relationships, which is purple. Hyacinth for the dot, and violet for the Mildliner. And then for health and wellness, which is blue. Splash for the dot marker, dark blue for the Mildliner. And then for spiritual and personal growth, which is kind of a teal, I have Ocean, which is probably one of my favorite colors of the dot markers. And then I have, I believe it's Spring Green or Summer Green. It's one of those two, which is one of my favorite Mildliners. So I love that color, if you can't tell. And then we have the regular green for financial, which is the Kiwi dot marker and the green Mildliner, and then finally gray for physical environment, which is platinum dot marker and gray Mildliner. So those are the colors that I'm using, and we'll get to that in a second. So I've already made myself a couple of little notes in here to remind myself. We're going to go first to this opening. Like, here's the, the various bits and pieces of the letter, everything. I don't care about that. Whatever. So first and foremost, we've got this getting started and this compass assessment. These pages. I don't need these pages, so I'm going to tear this puppy out. And here on this getting started page, I am actually going to put a sticker of the compass assessment where the colors are a little off from my printer. But what I did, Makselife has a printable download library, and I cannot remember if you need to buy something to get access to it or if you just need to be on their email list. I think you just need to be on their email list. But in their library, they have the Compass Assessment PDF, and I actually use it on the regular to print out my assessment scoring for these planners because it's not in the quarterly assessments. Well, I went and I printed the page with the Life Compass on it because what I want to do is transfer over from the previous planner my Q to like where I'm at right now to this one. But I like to reference the previous scores because I find that they inform me kind of where I've been and where I'm going. So what I'm going to do is use this page to keep a record of my original scores when I did the annual goal assessment at the beginning of the year, and then the previous score to that. So this will be kind of where I just have those so I don't have to pull out the old planner to be able to reference those. And what I did was I printed it on full sheet sticker paper, and I am just going to slap it on there. I feel like I might have done this wrong, but that's okay. Nope. No. I missed. Shit. Oh, well. Whatever. I missed. I'm just going to have to go with it. Oh, it's 0 for 1. It's not too bad, though. I don't even think I need to worry. I'm not going to be referencing this all that much, so no big deal. Okay. So now that I've got this in here, what I am going to do is I am going to utilize this black pen and first put in my original goals for the year. So according to my original compass assessment, I'm going to write in where I wanted to be at the end of the year. So when I filled this in originally, I had my scores and then I had my lines as to like where I wanted to progress to. So those lines represent my original goals for the 2022 year. So I'm going to just make a mark here. Oh, hi, Mark. Then what I'm going to do is use the line side of all of the dot markers in the correct color to put in my original place. So at the start of 2022. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go in with the chisel end of the Mildliner, and we're going to go to the first quarterly assessment and put in where I was after taking the assessment at the end of Q1. End of Q1. So I'm going to fill in the whole line for where I was at the end of Q1. And the final thing I am going to do is draw in the goals for the end of Q, like the new goals I set, because some of these changed and some of these didn't change at the end of Q1. I'm going to use a blue pen. So not all of them changed. Personal didn't change. Fun and recreation absolutely did change because I had already reached my goal at the end of Q1. Work and learning stayed the same. Family and relationships stayed the same. Health and wellness stayed the same. Spiritual and personal growth stayed the same. Financial stayed the same. Everything stayed the same except for fun and recreation. So now what I'm going to do is go to my Q2 assessment and just copy over my results. And the other thing I'm going to copy over is my assessment scoring from Q2, because I don't really go back to if I want to go back to the beginning of the year and look at my assessment scoring that has a start of the year, then I can just pull the planner out. But all I really want is the record of Q2's assessment scoring, so that when I start on Q3, when I have like the next assessment, I can compare those at the end. And I could just fold the paper up and stick it in the back, but since they're already in here, I might as well just use them. So I'm just going to go and basically transfer all of this to this, with the lines being the current goal and the fill-in being the current score. All right, now we've got the end of Q2 in here. I am just going to very quickly copy over my end of Q2 assessment scores. What I'm going to do is just put all the scores, the averages, and then add in what they were before I rounded them, because it is help. I keep rounding down. Rounding down is like my default for this. But it is helpful to kind of see if there was like any improvement or something when you compare the rounded down, like the pre-rounded scores to each other. Oh, fuck my life. And I've already fucked it up. I was feeling so smooth and so professional, and I was entering in the wrong categories scores. Let's hope that that's my mulligan, and then I can get through the rest of this, for the most part, unscathed. Okay. So that's all in after only some amount of casualty. Okay, moving forward. So now is my intentions page, and I'm going to copy this over and just revisit any of those things, especially considering that I've been doing the one little word situation, which has helped me really clarify some of those things. But in the meantime, before I get to that, I want to quickly get some of this stuff out. So I don't need this setting goals stuff, or this stuff, or these words. I mean, it'd be nice to have, but not need to have. So I'm just going to yank all of these out. Save myself a little room, as you saw from the previous planner. And then what I'm going to quickly do is throw this puppy. So this is actually a year at a glance 2022-2023 school year, July through June. And I put this together and I printed it on full sheet paper. The reason I want this in here is to put in school calendar, A/B days, and then days off and vacations and shit like that. My camera shut off and I didn't realize it. Let me just go over the last couple of things I did in case I missed it. I put in this perpetual calendar here, which I have for July 2022 through June 2023, when I get the AB calendar with all of the school information, we have some of it, but not all of it yet. I'm going to transfer it in here using dot pens. I may do that during one of my monthly plan with me's as we approach then. But right now I don't have the info. I wanted this here because I reference this school calendar every week that I plan. And I'm tired of going to the website to do it. So I have it in here for the whole year, even though it's only 6 months. And then I recopied my intentions page from my previous planner. Pretty much all the same, except for I crossed off the brain dump habit. Did not add a new one because I'm still working on exercise, but this one is one I just realized was not working for me. And I wanted to have the record of that. And then I did not fill in the whole what my word means to me, just the definition, because I've been doing so much work with one little word that I didn't feel the need of my hand was falling off. And then I sort of did not center this replenish very well, so I filled in the words I had been thinking about before that to make it look like I meant to do that. Moving forward, we're into the annual goals now. I'm going to copy these over again, and I'm going to utilize, instead of a fine liner, I'm going to use my Pentel Energel RTX because it has a little softer of a writing feel, and my tendinitis is really acting up right now. If I make any changes, I will make a note of them, kind of reformat them from the beginning of the year now that I have gone through half the year with these goals. I don't intend to make more than like small wording changes, although that may change as I'm going through them. Okay, well, I said I wasn't going to be making a lot of changes, but at least this first personal goal, I did make some changes. So I kept the focus the same, self-care through hobbies and boundaries, but I rewrote my main annual goal, which is instead of have art, my own originals in every room in the house by end of 2022, I had used my hobbies to bring life and personality to every room in the house. Because I realized, painting originals, I haven't painted a single large-scale original yet. I still have plans to, but I just haven't quite yet. However, now I've got plants in a bunch of rooms of the house. I have ordered a print that brings so much personality to our bedroom that I didn't paint, but it has personal meaning to Jess and I. So I felt that instead of putting my own art up everywhere, I just want the house to be full of personality. And so I think that that is the similar spirit to what I wanted to do. It's just not so specific as to has to be my art. I also rearranged my hobbies a bit. So I changed my habits and routines. I wanted planning for personal life. I just put daily planning, manicures, which were already on there, and they're both happening, but I haven't checked them off yet because I want to do it the whole year. And I added houseplant care. It used to be in hobbies to cultivate or try, but I've done a really good job cultivating it, and I've even brought in bigger plants. So now I just want to keep it as a habit or a routine. And then these guys are all the same. Walk, cooking, gardening in one little word, and then I added large-scale painting, whereas in here it said gouache or acrylic larger scale. I just want to paint on a larger scale, whether it's those or if I use watercolors. And then I kept my life improvement the same. So this is similar, but what's the word I want? It's been iterated. For fun and recreation, I kept the focus the same. This actually stayed mostly the same with just a little bit of rewording. For example, I did not add vacations, staycations, days off, date nights with this schedule and take regular time off. So I think that assumption is obvious with the rest of these. Yearly, at least 2 vacation, 1 with kids, 1 without kids. Staycations, we did one of those already, so I'm going to cross that off. And then the other one will be fake Thanksgiving when my family shows up. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Monthly 3-day weekends, weekly. I said I wanted date nights and Saturdays off, but maybe Fridays. Well, now I have officially added Fridays, so I put that in here. And then I put outings under date nights because Jess and I have decided that we want to get out with Layla once a week to somewhere, like to a park or something that's not our neighborhood, as well as having a date night. And then I reminded myself to prioritize time with each person in my family individually, including just myself. And I didn't put in how will my life improve because I did that with some of these. I just don't want to. My hand hurts and I'm fine with that. I made a big change with my art, with my work and learning goal, and that is instead of building a surface pattern design portfolio, I wanted to just build the art and design part of my business with the goal to complete my portfolio and asset library by the end of year 2022, because I feel like that's the direction I'm starting to move in, which could also involve pattern design as well as just individual art pieces. I'm not putting much else on here. This is mostly a work goal, but this is just a reminder that I want to make sure to add a little bit of this every single week. I'm also keeping my family and relationships goal the same, to focus on communication and quality time with weekly planning and check-ins and coffee dates with my friends twice weekly or twice monthly, not twice weekly. I've been making some progress on those things while still needing to do some more work on them. So I figured changing that did not really seem like it. And any changes I might have made to this kind of got wrapped into fun and recreation. So I'm not worried about it. So for health and wellness, I kept the focus the same and the main goal the same, being ready for transplant and improving my compliance in the following areas by end of year 2022. Originally, I had put in a little chart saying this is where I was at the start of the year and then this is where I was now, but I forgot to fill it in, so I'm just not bothering. And I changed one item and I added 2 more. So the ones that stayed the same were regular movement, exercise 3 times weekly, no more soda, daily outdoor time, more fruits and vegetables, 100% medication management, 100% blood pressure tracking. And then I updated the water to 120 ounces because that actually feels better to me than 100 now that I am really aware of how dehydrated I get, especially during the summer. And the 2 I added were consistent bedtime and sunscreen daily. I almost always have sunscreen on my face, but I have body sunscreen now. I need to be better about wearing that because skin cancer, holy shit. Aside from the fact that my grandma, I've got a history of skin cancer in my family, transplant meds make you more vulnerable to skin cancer, as my grandma has pointed out. As for these things, I'm feeling good about some of them. Some of them I haven't even tried to work on yet, or if I have, I didn't do very well. Feeling good about that, though. Again, I kept my spiritual and personal growth the same. I just adapted the steps a bit. Join a UU congregation and choir by end of year 2022. I haven't done any of these yet. Visit, join, and then join the choir. Originally, it said pick and join congregation, make space for choir in my schedule. I'm going to put pick congregation because I did pick it. I've talked to people from there. And I'm 99.9% sure that this is going to be the congregation for me. Now I need to visit it and actually see it in person. So we're working on it. I've talked about in my quarterly update, I think, that I would like to be able to visit it because if they're doing an in-gathering in the fall, that would be perfect timing. Financial stayed basically the same with 1 item added. Continue to improve our financial picture and my relationship with money. And the 2 items that stayed were scheduling and following through on monthly budgeting with Jesse and contribute $1,000 monthly to savings by end of year 2022, which I'm working towards. And then contributing monthly to my retirement is the one I added. For the home maintenance physical environment goal, I sort of added to it, not really. Continue to maintain and add to our home, complete a home project each month, get regular home maintenance and repairs on rotation or autopilot by end of year 2022. And I put the spreadsheet here because I haven't done that yet, but Jess and I both want it. And then I'm going to check off hire cleaning service bi-weekly, which used to be 2 times monthly, but it's bi-weekly. And we've done that and we're very happy with them. And I'm still feeling some sort of way about it, but we're just going to figure it out. So those are my annual goals. So now we've got these vision board pages. And once again, I have printed out some stuff. And this is actually a gardening schedule that I adapted from some stuff I found specific to the area that I live in. It's just reminders. This is not everything that was on the thing I was looking at, but it's things that I know apply to me and what I'm doing right now because I don't really know when to do a lot of stuff in Colorado. So I have it. It goes March through October, and it's basically just like things like when to plant arugula and when do you need to blow out your sprinklers. That is what I'm just going to stick here as a reminder again, because it's easier to just have it kind of like the school calendar than digging up whatever website I was looking at this last time. And this is crooked. Okay, let's do a little trimmy. Wait, will this work? Maybe. When a problem comes along, you must snip it. So a little crooked, but no big deal. If you see any of these tips and you're like, ooh, I'll use that for my garden, just know, I guess, for people who are interested in learning gardening or whatever, that I live in zone 5. I believe it's 5A, maybe 5B. I'm in the Front Range of Colorado. So we have had moments already this year where we've had all 4 seasons in one day. Specific timings and everything else are very geared towards where I live, not generally speaking. Which I guess is the same for most gardening advice, like when it comes to timing. You look up your zone to figure out what all you need to know. So I've got these guys in here. And that takes me through the beginning of my planner. So I'm not doing anything with the notes pages. I'm not doing anything with the future planning because I don't really use those. And I could have used the notes pages for some of this stuff, but honestly, I didn't really feel the need to. So the last bit I'm going to do here is date the months. And if you don't remember from my review, the stickers, they had them sized for the daily. And then the tabs wound up being a little bit smaller for this. And so you have to trim them, which is a bummer, but I don't really give that much of a shit. So the biggest reason I'm even putting them on here is for my own peace of mind. So having them need to be trimmed really doesn't bother me. Lost my camera again. I have no idea what I missed here, but I'm just in the process of trimming these fuckers down because they weren't going to fit, because that's just the way the cookie crumbled because of supply chain issues and not being able to make a change at the last minute for Makselife. Although I do understand people who are frustrated by that, because it does suck to spend money on something and then have something have to still be fucking adapted. I used to, years ago, and it was not because it was an Erin Condren. It just happened to be when I was using my Erin Condren, when I used my Inkwell press, before I really got down the digital planning Google Calendar rabbit hole. And I was like convinced I would never use a Google Calendar. Never say never. I did all my future planning in the monthly view and then on like a future log type thing in my planner. Well, I don't do that anymore because I do it on my Google Calendar, because if I don't do it on my Google Calendar, then my family will never see it. And even though it's in the Google Calendar, it still doesn't mean my family's going to see it. They'll never see it if it's just in my planner. If it's in the Google Calendar, there's a chance they'll see it. And then Jesse's like, when are we doing blah, blah, blah? I'm like, you fucking told me you would see shit if I put it on the Google Calendar. Well, I did, and you still haven't looked. But I have in the past 6 months really liked using my monthly calendar to give myself an idea of what's coming up and everything else. Like, so I'm not future planning in it, but I am like kind of going over my upcoming month at the end of the previous month or whatnot. And that has been, both, it gives me opportunity not only to get the calendar set up and to really get an overview of it, because sometimes when you're looking at a Google Calendar at the month view, when you've got a lot of shit going on, it's hard to see because it only shows you so much. So being able to look at it in a planner when you're heading into the month is actually really helpful. I know it can seem redundant because it kind of is, but at the same time, like I said, I've found it very helpful. So I'm going to keep doing that. It also gives me time to work on my monthly reflections, to work on my monthly goals, blah, blah, blah. So it's helpful to me all the way around. This planner is now set up, so we'll flip through quickly what I did. Nothing in the back besides putting on these stickers, but otherwise, I put my name in the front, tore out some pages. I have my Q2, like the end of Q2 assessment to go into Q3, and then I have all of the previous information from the previous stuff from my old planner. Got my assessment from Q2. I've got my word of the year stuff, my school year calendar, my annual goals revised for mid-year, and then my gardening schedule. So that is everything in here for the upcoming second half of the year. Now I'm just waiting on my Chrissy-Ann Designs order with all of my stickers, because I didn't buy the stickers for the monthlies for the rest of the year, even though I bought them all for this planner, because I wasn't sure if I was going to go with this planner again. And then when I knew I ordered them, but they're not here yet. So when they get here, I will film and show you my monthly setup. And in the meantime, I would love to hear from you down below. Do you check in with everything mid-year? Like whether you swap planners, whether you're still in the same planner, whatever, do you like revisit your past year and think about that? Let me know in the comments below. And if you have, what are you proud of so far this year? Like, what have you done in the last 6 months that you're feeling really good about? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, my friends, peace.